Judge John Roberts tries to mock Jasmine Crockett, her legal brilliance shuts his mouth. In a moment that is already being studied, shared, and applauded across the internet and in political circles, a live legal forum turned into a historic takedown when Supreme Court Chief Justice John Roberts attempted to mock Congresswoman and attorney Jasmine Crockett, only to be met with a response so sharp, so legally airtight, that it left the Chief Justice completely speechless. The event, a high-profile national roundtable on judicial ethics and constitutional law, brought together some of the biggest names in law, politics, and media. Among the invited participants were Justice Roberts, appearing in a rare public-facing forum, and Rep. Jasmine Crockett, a rising star in Congress known for her fearless voice and powerful command of legal language. Crockett, a former public defender and civil rights attorney, has quickly made a name for herself on Capitol Hill as someone who refuses to be talked down to, especially by those in power. Throughout the early portion of the discussion, Roberts had maintained a composed, almost dismissive tone when responding to critics of the court's recent decisions. But as the conversation shifted toward topics like judicial transparency, ethics violations, and the increasing politicization of the Supreme Court, Crockett's commentary became more direct, holding the court to account and demanding answers. That's when Roberts attempted to interrupt her mid-sentence with a smirk and a quip that many in the room interpreted as an attempt to belittle her credentials. Referring to her legal background, Roberts said, "Well, with all due respect, Congresswoman, I think we can agree that interpreting constitutional law is a bit more complicated than a few years in a courtroom." What Roberts didn't expect was that Jasmine Crockett had come prepared, not just with talking points, but with facts, constitutional references, precedent cases, and an ability to command the conversation with clarity and force. Without skipping a beat, Crockett responded, "Chief Justice Roberts, I didn't just spend years in a courtroom, I lived in them. While some interpret the Constitution in abstract, protected chambers, others of us have seen what it looks like when that Constitution fails real people in real time. If you think that courtroom experience is less valuable than robes and prestige, then perhaps we've identified the root of the problem with today's judiciary." The audience erupted. Legal experts on the panel leaned forward. Even the moderator paused, visibly surprised by the gravity of her words. And Crockett wasn't done. She proceeded to list, in chronological order, recent Supreme Court decisions that she claimed had eroded civil liberties, undermined voting rights, and ignored long-standing precedent. She cited case law, quoted dissenting opinions from fellow justices, and even challenged Roberts' own role in narrowly decided rulings. Her language was precise, her logic airtight, and most importantly, her tone remained calm, authoritative, and unapologetically powerful. Roberts, clearly rattled, attempted to pivot, but the damage had already been done. He didn't respond directly to her final argument. Instead, he quietly nodded as the moderator moved the conversation forward. Observers in the room immediately noted what millions of viewers would later confirm: Jasmine Crockett had outmatched the Chief Justice on live television, and did it with grace, brilliance, and undeniable legal skill. The fallout online was immediate. Clips of the moment dominated social media within minutes, racking up millions of views. Legal scholars praised Crockett's performance as one of the most important challenges to unchecked judicial authority in recent memory. Civil rights activists called it a breakthrough moment, highlighting how institutional power is being called to task by a new generation of leaders unafraid to speak the truth. Some critics tried to paint the moment as performative, but even they were forced to acknowledge that Crockett had the legal grounding to back every word she said. And with public trust in the Supreme Court at a low point, her direct confrontation with Roberts was seen by many as a necessary reckoning. What this exchange revealed is more than just a fiery moment on TV. It was a reminder that no one, not even the Chief Justice of the United States, is above accountability. And it proved that Jasmine Crockett is not just a rising political figure, but a force in American legal discourse capable of shifting the balance in any room she enters. In the days that followed, Crockett continued to gain national attention, with many calling for her to take a more prominent leadership role in congressional oversight of the judiciary. Meanwhile, Roberts has remained silent on the matter, perhaps knowing that anything he says will only fuel further scrutiny. This moment will be remembered not just as a powerful exchange, but as a turning point in the way power is challenged in public. One voice, backed by truth and legal expertise, managed to silence the most powerful judge in the country, and did it with dignity, clarity, and brilliance.